Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Divorced Woman's Guide podcast. How are you doing today? It is Wendy Sterling, your host and your personal Divorced Woman's Guide. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's episode, which happens to be inspired by another podcast that I was listening to of a friend of mine's. And it has to do with why now is the exact moment in time that you get to start taking care of yourself. So ultimately, what today's episode is going to address is how it is that you can start rebuilding you and crafting your life after divorce, and why now is the time, and it is crucial. So the reason I'm saying that now is the time is because of what's happening in the world of astrology. And so, if you guys know anything about it, or even if you don't, I'm not going to go deep into it right now. All I'm going to say is that it has to do with where the north and the south nodes are in the world, with the different with our different signs. And it is going to be this way for the next 18 months. And so what I have been taught and told is that now is the time for us all to really start prioritizing ourselves. And so today I'm hoping that by the end of the episode that you are going to see the importance and start shifting your focus inward and embrace the power of putting yourself first. So I know that life moves very quickly, and we often find ourselves consumed by, obligations, responsibilities, the needs of our kids or our family members, or even we put our friends first. And so what we're going to explore today is really this concept of embracing what I always say is the only time that exists, which is the now, and making yourself a priority, right? And part of this is self-care. So today I'm inviting you guys to, even just sticking with and listening to this episode is a step in the direction of self-care, right? Because you're nurturing your well-being by listening to this podcast, and you're deepening a connection with yourself because you're going to learn about yourself. So what does living in the present moment actually mean? Well, living in the now means that you are not allowing your past to make decisions for you, and you're not going too far down the line in the future where you're allowing any fears of guiding you in this particular moment, right? So many times there's anxiety and stress that comes with the future. And so I'm inviting you to release that. I'm inviting you to release your past, right? Release that you believe that your past is going to define you now or moving forward. And embracing the now also means practicing mindfulness, which I've talked about before. And you can find another podcast episode all about that. But essentially what mindfulness is it's about just paying attention to your thoughts in the now and acknowledging them and recognizing that it is recognize them without judgment, and seeing that you can actually allow yourself to reframe and release those thoughts and to shift and to keep going about your day. And so being in the now really enables you to fully express all of the joy in your life, right? And creating the stronger foundation for yourself as you are moving forward in your life. And if you're not in the now, then you're not practicing gratitude. You are not in a place where you are being present with not just yourself, but also your kids, and really, putting away the distractions. And, I know that you're listening to me, and I'm not saying that this is a distraction, but stop multitasking, right? Be in this podcast right now. I'm inviting you to, if you're sitting in front of the computer and listening to me, I'm inviting you to turn off your screen, turn to the right. It's a short episode, and just be with me. Okay. Stop multitasking. The other part of you nurturing yourself is learning the art of a boundary that I love using and I love teaching. And that boundary is saying no. And I know that saying no is really hard. I have been there. And what I can also tell you is that it is hugely empowering. And when we set boundaries in our life and with every person in our life, it is us standing in the power of us putting ourselves first. There is no easier way to put yourself first than to learn how to say no, set a boundary, and assert yourself politely with respect, of course, and kindness when necessary. Okay. So remember that putting yourself first doesn't mean that you are being selfish. It doesn't mean that you are, it's selfless, right? I know that when I take care of myself, I am a better version of myself to everybody else in my life. And so a lot of times what I'm asking you to do is, in order for you to rebuild yourself, you've got to be able to put yourself in a place where you are recognizing, what is valuable to you, right? Like, where are you choosing to put your time and your energy? Because your life is going to reflect where it is that you're putting that. And I would bet that it's not where you want it to be. Another part of this self-care element that's really important is all about nourishing your mind, body, and soul, right? It's this trifecta. Self-care doesn't mean going out and getting a massage or going out and getting a manicure, right? Sometimes this could be as simple as letting yourself go out and take a 5-minute walk. It could be just sitting in the sun and getting some vitamin D for a couple of minutes between calls, which is something I do every single day because I work from home and, it's very easy to stay indoors all day. It's also nourishing yourself through picking up new hobbies. I've talked about recently how I picked up tennis over about a year and a half ago. And that's, other than my ankle injury, that's a hobby that I'm now exploring more and nurturing myself. That's part of my self-care. I'm also continuing to learn, right? Like, I love reading books. This podcast is inspired by one that I was listening to where I'm learning about astrology, right? And so anytime we can prioritize our mind, our body, our soul, we are deepening our connection with our inner self by, it's almost like, it's kind of like, gifting yourself with additional therapy, right? Introspection, right? And it's so nourishing anytime you're able to do something for yourself. I can't stress it enough, you guys. It's also really important. This is something that I think is very, I don't know that it's underrated, but it's something we don't talk about enough, which is part of you also being able to recognize that now's the time to take care of you. Is in order for you to do that, you also need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive influences. So take a look, think about the people that you are currently surrounding yourself with. How are they impacting your well-being, your mindset, your daily life? It is so important to make sure that you are cultivating a supportive network of friends and influences in your life, and being open to considering releasing relationships in your life that don't serve you, right? People that don't inspire you or uplift you, because that can be a reason why you are not putting yourself first and you are staying in this negative place. The last thing I just want to invite you guys to understand why now is so incredibly important to take care of yourself and to prioritize your well-being. And that is through the practice of grace, gratitude, and courage to put yourself first. So practicing grace, having grace for yourself, practicing gratitude, and digging down into yourself and bringing out that courage, making it conscious, are some of the most powerful ways that each and every one of you guys can dive into the importance of self-growth and self-care. And what I want you guys to think about is how much time, how much of your day are you actually spending being in gratitude, that you are showing yourself grace, that you are being courageous, right? what is it through those acts that you can learn about yourself, right? What are the insights, right? So some of those benefits are going to reduce your stress. It's going to improve your overall well-being. It's going to improve your mental health. It's going to build stronger relationships with the people in your life. It's also going to build resilience, right? And I can't tell you how incredibly important it is when you increase your self-awareness, right? So being aware of your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, it helps you to recognize patterns that are no longer serving you or triggers that continue to spark in you things that you're not proud of, right? So how is it that you can reflect on ways in which you can take better care of yourself, right? And so I really hope that today's episode has taught you guys really how to prioritize you, how to take time now for you, to embrace the present, to nurture your mind, your body, and your soul so that you will be better equipped to navigate any challenge that comes your way. And ultimately, what is important to me for each and every one of you guys is that you are living life authentically, that you are embracing the moment, and you are doing so with your heart completely open, but open to what is serving your heart, what is bringing your heart warmth and joy and peace and ease, right? It's important that each and every one of you cultivate a sense of gratitude and learning how to gift yourself with grace and how to dig into what courage looks like for you. Because what I know is that those three things are going to lead to a much more positive and fulfilling life. It is going to allow you to create the most amazing chapter of your life. Because listen, I know that divorce is the end of one chapter of your book, but it's also the beginning of a new one. And it is now that is your chance to rebuild and craft that life that is 100% authentically yours. So I invite each and every one of you guys to embrace all the opportunities that are literally handed to you every single day. If you are present and in the now, you will see them. And you get to learn from your past and step into the future with confidence and self-assurance. And remember that you have the power to rebuild and thrive in your next life. So thank you guys for joining me today in this episode. I always love hearing your feedback. So please be sure to share it with me. You're always welcome to email me at wendy@wendysterling.net. And I hope you guys also remember that if you are somebody who is really looking to get support, I always offer complimentary support calls. You can go to contactwendy.com and schedule one for yourself. Don't forget that. And be sure to also join my amazing private Facebook group, Divorce Rehab with Wendy. And don't forget too, that you want to be sure to hit subscribe and leave me a 5-star review and share this episode or even just this entire podcast with anybody else who you think might benefit from listening to my words of wisdom. And remember, you guys, that no matter where it is that you are in your divorce process, I am here to support you with nuggets of information to help you navigate wherever it is that you are in your process, because I want you to be living the most abundant life possible. It's possible for each and every one of you guys. So in my heart of hearts, I send you guys so much love, light, and joy as always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.